Let's get right into it, okay? How do abusers spot the child to abuse? How do abusers choose who to sexually molest, abuse, rape? Like, I know we can't fully know like how they choose and things like that. My voice is a bit shaky. As you can imagine, this topic is very, very serious, and it is, it's very difficult to talk about. It's not one of those nice topics. It's a very difficult topic to talk about. So please just bear with me, okay? I feel like there's a common theme that keeps, that's coming up really. And, I think from there, we're able to kind of understand, oh, okay, this is why abusers kind of go for these kind of people. And I'm sharing this for parents and also for, adults like myself, so that you can safeguard your children and yourself from these things. Okay. So in terms of children, one thing that keeps coming up is the shy, quiet children are an amazing target for sexual abuse. Children who they don't talk much, when you hit them, they don't snap back. When you harm them, they don't fight back. Abusers love these kind of children or these kind of people because they basically calculate in their head that if I rape this girl, she's not going to tell anybody. If I threaten to kill her, she's not going to really do anything. She's going to be scared and keep quiet. But when they see a child who is extremely vocal, shouting up and down, telling everybody everything, greeting everybody, very bold, very confident, abusers are very scared of these children because, as you can imagine, they would go and tell people. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't, fall victim to the threat of I'm going to kill you, I'm going to harm you. So this is a lesson for parents. Make sure that, you can't force shyness out of a child, but one thing you can do is to be a safe space for that child. Make sure that child talks to you. And I know people are going to be like, oh, well, I can't do. I'm telling you, I feel like as a parent, it is your job to make sure that you talk to your child, no matter how young, no matter how old. Talk to the child because and it's not something that when they now become 20, 30, that's when you now want to come and be establishing relationship with them. No, from the moment they're born, like you see some women, reading to their children while they're still in the womb because they're trying to establish that connection. Like imagine if you've been talking to your child from 1 year old, 2 years old, 3, 4, 5 years old. That child is not going to have any issues with coming to you to tell you that this person has harmed them. Also to note here as well, abusers always notice children who are like not protected. I don't know how I can explain that. So when they notice that the parents are not really around either physically or emotionally, because some parents might be like, oh, I spend 24/7 with my child, like I'm always with my child. Yeah, but you can be physically present with a child or with someone but you're not emotionally present with them. We've all felt that way. Like you can be in a room full of people, but you still feel alone because maybe like you don't know them, you don't have a good rapport with them, you can't really share your heart with them. So it's kind of like, why even there? So please, I know being, a parent, being a guardian, a caregiver, it's hard. But please, 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 I'm begging you, make sure that you talk to your child and you're visible in the child's life. No matter how busy you are, let people in school know that this child has a parent. You might not be able to go to all the meetings or all the programs, but make sure that you're visible because abusers, teachers, people who harm children, family members who harm children, they will always they will always run through that crack, if they cannot see that you're emotionally present or you're physically present. When they see that your child is also scared to talk to you, they love it because that means that they will do anything and you will never know. Okay? So this is for parents and also for grown adults as well. Make sure that even if you're shy, even if you're introverted, start learning how to be vocal, start learning how to scream and shout, start learning how to talk to people. I know in our culture, shame is such a huge thing. Oh, don't tell this person, don't tell that person. But that might be just what saves your life. So start learning how to scream and shout out for help. Okay. Now, this is also backed by research. Abusers are usually people who are inside the child's life or inside the person's life. Abusers, they're not really like strangers, because strangers they don't know your routine. They don't know what, if you're close to your child, if you're far from your child, if your child likes you, if you talk to your child. They don't have all this information, so they are not confident enough to come and molest your child like that. See, and this is one of the reasons why I'm making this video, because I see a lot of parents and they're so naive. And I realize that the reason why they are naive to these things is maybe because they have not experienced it themselves, or maybe they've just not heard about it, or are just maybe too busy, making money providing for the child, which is fine, which is okay. But my thing is, as a mother, as a father, one thing I feel like you need to understand, or as an adult, is that the closest people to you, male or female, you have to be street smart. Like, I don't know how else to say it. You only, like, when you are on the streets, you trust it's only you that you trust 100%. And I know I'm not trying to make anyone be overly suspicious or too scared or to be hyper vigilant or anything like that, but I'm just saying that it's 2025. Like, we have to wake up to these things. We can't just be naive anymore. Okay, so anyone that is not you, right, anyone that is not you, you need to protect your child from the person. We've heard of stories of even fathers sexually abusing the children, or sleeping with the children, or fondling and touching girls when they're maybe baiting for them. These things happen, and a lot of women or a lot of mothers are just so naive. Like, their brain does not even, and I understand that it's an abnormal thought to have, but in this day and age, to protect your child and make sure that you don't find yourself in this kind of situations, please, please, and please be more vigilant, be more aware of who is spending time with your child. We even hear of stories of, even siblings. I mentioned it last week, like, even siblings. Sometimes I feel like a boy can just start developing feelings for his sister and then start doing all sorts of sexual thing, and maybe the girl's getting pregnant and the parents, they don't know. There's so many stories out there. Like, there's so much perversion in our generation, in our world. It's disgusting, and it's really sad, but it's something that we need to talk about. So abusers will always be inside your circle. They will hardly ever be outside. Someone who's molesting your child from the age of 7, 8 to 10, 15, 16 is not a stranger. A stranger does not have that access. So be careful. If you have a driver that takes your children to school, be careful. If whoever it is, and I don't want to go too deep into this because I don't want to scare people who are not really like aware, but do your research. After this video, do your own research, be careful. So I think those are two major things that have been popping up over the years. When I've done my work and on my journey, those two things are very big. So please pay attention to them. Abusers will always go for the shy, isolated, quiet children. They will go for children who are emotionally, detached from their caregivers, or physically detached as well. They will also more than likely be inside your life, your circle, so just be aware of that. Okay. Now, the second part of this video, I want to talk about how. So you might be watching this and your body is vibrating, you're shaking, you're crying because, it's coming, you are maybe experiencing this. Maybe somebody in your life, an uncle, an aunt, a brother, a sister, a father, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin has been molesting you, raping you, and you've not said anything. And this is the first time where you're hearing someone like say these kind of things publicly. First of all, I want to say that, I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. And I want you to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I want you to know that better days are ahead. Healing is possible. Forgiveness is possible. Okay. So I want to talk about how you can manage this situation. Now, I wrote down some steps, that are kind of like popularly, known or advised, because like I said last week, these situations you need to manage it very well, because if you don't manage it very well, it can be very fatal. And I won't go too much into it. If you are a mother, right, and maybe you have somebody living with you, and you notice some weird behaviors. I was doing a training for a job a few years ago, and one thing they told us is whenever you get that feeling of like, that's weird, always always trust your gut instinct. As a mother, you are the mother, you gave life to this person. Always trust your gut instinct. Now, sometimes you can be wrong for different reasons, right? But anytime, just for safety reasons, anytime you feel that feeling of like, why is that person touching my child that way? Or why is my child running away from that person? Or why is my child always crying near this person? Why is my child always moody when this person comes around or leaves? When you start noticing these things, right, you need to start investigating. Now, I know a lot of people immediately you want to go confront the person and harm them and stuff, but trust me, that's not going to get you anywhere. Trust me. It's not going to get you anywhere. Sometimes it doesn't even make the person stop because your life is set up in such a way that you will not be around your child 24/7. Oh my days. When you find out that this is happening, now you need to gather evidence. If you've ever been in a toxic workplace, one thing they would advise for you to do is don't just leave and say, I'm tired of these flipping ass people. No. They suggest that you start collecting evidence. On 23rd of the 5th of 2025, at 11 a.m. this happened, this person said this person, you start documenting so that after 3 months, 6 months, you have a lot of evidence. Okay. Now, in this situation, because it's not, a verbal thing, it's more of like doing, right? Somebody is touching your child inappropriately. Somebody is having with your child, so one thing I would suggest is maybe set up cameras. And God bless some parents. I feel like some parents are already doing this. But because some people, if you confront them, like nobody wants to go to prison. Nobody wants to take. A lot of abusers will never take accountability for their actions. Even if you play them the video and say, this is what you did to my child, they will still say, that's not me. That is how crazy some of them can be. But for your own sanity and for the sanity of your child and from moving on from this horrible situation, I would suggest you setting up a camera, around where maybe if you have a baby cot or your child's room, set a camera so that you can pick up what is actually going on, because then you have had fact, and I don't want to talk about a lot of things publicly because abusers will also watch these videos and I don't want them to get the scope, but I'm making this video to help, so I'm going to share it too. So one is set up camera to catch someone. I know someone will say, oh, that's the violation, you can't use that in court. Again, this is not for other people, it's for you, it's for your sanity, right? Use it so that you can tell that, oh my God, this uncle, this crazy person has been sleeping with your child, So that's one. The second one would be making sure that you change your routines. So for instance, if you tell your nanny that, oh, I'm going to be back by 2, arrive back at 12. Just be like, oh, I forgot my purse or something. Just disrupt the routine, because again, these people are inside your circle, so they know your routine. They know you down to the T. They know what time you go, what time you come back, where you go. They know all these things, and that's why they're able to keep doing these things. So the best thing is change up your routine. Okay, so if you say, oh, I'm going to work tomorrow, wake up the next day and say, oh, I'm not going to work anymore, and don't tell the nanny. Right? This is your life. This is your child's life. I feel like no rule or nothing is far-fetched. Like you're, paying this person to take care of your child, or even if you're not, this is your child, right? You have a duty and a responsibility to take actions as you deem fit. So those are the two things like I would suggest, cameras, and also, changing up your routine and seeing if that will, help you to catch what is going on. Okay, if you want more tips, because I have a lot of ways, send me an email, send me an email, send me a DM, and I will give you all the advice I can in terms of catching the person. Okay, there's even a special type of therapy you can use on the child to let me keep quiet. Okay, so that is a tip that you can use. Now another one is also making sure that you talk to your child. Talking to your, have you ever met those children? Oh my god, like I love my niece and my nephews. Like, if you spend time with them and they go back to their dad, they'll tell their dad, oh, Lola was wearing purple. Oh, she was doing this. She gave us Cocoa Pops. And then she opened the back door. And then she opened the window. So those kind of children, there's no way you can abuse them. How will you abuse them? Because everything that you've done or they've seen or they see when they're with you, they will tell their caregiver because they trust their caregiver. So one of the ways to come back to this is to talk to your child on a regular basis from when they're little. It's not when they're 15, 16, 20, 30, 50 that you now want to, it's too late at that time. So start talking to them. Let them know, I will protect you with my life. Nobody can harm you as long as I'm here. There's nothing you tell me that will make me hate you or not love you. Let that child know that you love them unconditionally. Be a safe space so that they can come and tell you and you can take the necessary actions as an adult. Now, when you have your evidence, then I feel like sometimes you will have to get social services, you would have to get the police involved, because the next action would be to confront the person, and then you would now establish your consequence, which is maybe you are not taking care of my child anymore, you need to leave. Now, you need to tell the police or child protection services, because a lot of abusers are crazy. I'm telling you, I've heard of stories where, a mother confronted an abuser, and the person brought out, tried to harm, because the person was like, I don't want you to go and tell everybody, they're trying to protect their image. So you need a game plan. Speaking to the police, they will be able to tell you, okay, this is what you do. We're going to be in the back. So when you tell the person, you give us a signal and then we'll come in so that we can protect you. We can force the person out if they don't want to leave, There will also be sometimes like legal actions that you might have to take against this person if you want, if you don't want. I think for me, the number one thing is your safety and your child's safety, because, you can't go to court and fight for anything if you're not alive, And one thing I want you to take away from this video is, do not underestimate an abuser. They will go to any length to protect themselves. So don't think you're going to just expose them and, they're going to cry and say sorry and move on. A lot of them, they will react back. So be very careful. And I even want to say, I hear a lot of stories on Instagram of people saying things like, in fact, there's a famous picture who talked about how her father was like molesting her or raping her, like actually raping her. And she told her mom, and her mom literally told her to shut up, that she was jealous of her. She wanted to wreck her marriage and this and that. And obviously the child had to run away at some point, because there's only so much abortion and there's only so much rape you can take as a woman, right? So please, if you are a mother and you are in this situation, I'm begging you, do not just say, oh, the child is jealous of your marriage, the child is jealous of you. Like, does that even make sense to you? Please fight for this child. Like this child that you don't want to fight for, you will regret it in the future. And think about, if this person is actually raping or sexually abusing your child, they are clearly cheating on you with other people. So you protecting and defending them it doesn't even make any sense. And I understand it's really hard, this is your person, but your child has to come first in the case of abuse. Okay, please speak up for your child, step up for your child. Your child will thank you later, and God will even reward you with a man who is not, creepy and crazy. Okay, like I said, you notice this is happening with your children, with your spouse, with an uncle, with an aunt, tell the police, tell the child protection services, and most importantly, I even feel like before you even go to the police and all these things, take your child to the hospital. Because if this person has been consistently raping your child, or maybe they've been putting their hand in your child's private parts, your child might have a lot of like sexual transmitted disease. We've had cases of children or people having, HIV, AIDS, all these, infectious, incurable diseases, or even pregnancy. But I know there's a lot of things that can happen, within like a few hours. But I mean, this is if you can catch this abuse quickly, like within maybe 48 hours, 72 hours. I know there's some things that the hospital can, give to the child or give to you to help you manage the situation. But if this has been going on for a long period of time, there might not be any solution. It might just be preventing or managing the symptoms. And this is again why you have to be vigilant as a parent, as a person. This is not even just for parents, it's for everyone. As you're watching this video, you have to be vigilant for your brothers, for your sisters, for your parents, everyone. We have to be looking out for each other. Please take the child to the hospital so that they can get medical attention, before it's too late. Okay. And lastly, I would suggest therapy. I would suggest talking therapy, because what has happened, especially in situations of like incest, or in situations where the child has caught HIV, or the person has caught a infectious disease or illness, there needs to be a lot of because if you don't want that person to lose it, like, it's a lot that has happened. You need to go for therapy. In my last video, or in one of my videos, we spoke about, or I listed free therapy services, in the UK and in Ireland. Now, if you cannot find any, contact me. I will do my best to help you find one. If you live in the UK or in Ireland and you want to connect with a therapist, I'm connected to a few of them. So reach out to me and I will suggest, and I'll give you the details and we can work out what to do. So you need the therapy as the parent or as the person who has been sexually abused. The child also needs the therapy as well to be able to move on, because there's some things that your child cannot just say to you. If you think about a situation where it was maybe a boy child and a adult boy child, and some sexual things happen there, the child might, no matter how close they are to you, they might not be able to tell you the actual detail, but they might feel more comfortable with a therapist. Okay. Lastly, I want to let you know that if you're a parent and you realize that, something horrible has happened under your nose and you didn't know about it, I want you to forgive yourself, because you are not God. You don't see everything. Just give yourself, a break. It has happened. It has happened. What is now important is, what are we going to do about this situation? That is more important. Going forward, how am I going to safeguard myself and my children? Come to the end of this video. If you've watched it to this part, thank you. Make sure you click the like button. If this is kind of content that you like, and if you want to stay in touch, leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Have you experienced this? How did you manage it? Do you have tips for people going through this as well? Do you have resources? Put it, because we're here to help each other. Okay. And if you have not experienced any of these things, this is your first time hearing things like this, and you've been emotionally impacted or affected, I will leave some numbers where you can call for free. You can call and you can just talk about maybe what is on your mind, and that can just give you that release. Now, again, before I close again, I feel like I need to say this. If you are listening to me and you have been sexually abused, or your child has been abused, and you just say to yourself that I'm not going to say to anybody, I'm not going to talk to anybody, I'm not going to go to therapy, I'm not going to do anything, understand that there's a book that I'm reading that I'll come and share one day. It talks about how traumatic and repressed emotions, they actually cause diseases in our body. It can affect you or your child psychologically. It would affect your performance and the quality of your life. So it's very, very serious, and it's not something that you can just brush away, because it will come out either now or in the future. Thanks for listening to me again. My name is Lola KG. Thank you for watching thank you for watching this video, and I hope that it has been a blessing to you and your loved ones. Until we see again, hopefully next weekend, take care of yourself and God bless.